is for the person who can't get off their ass, can't get up in the morning, doesn't do what they really want to do. The conversations that you have in your mind that you're not, because you are away. This message is for somebody who actually changed their life. We have a new year coming. 2023 is a week away. It's another year. 5 years is going to happen no matter what. Who do you want to be in 5 years? Do you want to be the same person? 10 years is going to pass. When is the right time? What is the next excuse you're going to use for yourself? Who are you? Who do you want to be? Why are you stopping yourself? Who are you hanging out with? What are you listening to? What is your mindset? You love being negative, don't you? You enjoy having people. You have to act like who you want to be first before you be that person. Aren't you sick and tired? Aren't you sick and tired of not doing what you're supposed to be doing? What is it going to take? A death in the family? For you to get sick? For you to get bad news from the doctor? What is it going to be? What is the moment for you that you're waiting for? What do you actually think it's going to be? How about just start today? And I'm talking about whatever you want to start. If it's your fitness journey, your business, that relationship. What is it going to be? When is it going to be? What is stopping you? I'm glad you found this show. I'm glad you're watching me. I'm glad your ears are open and you are listening. I'm glad I have your attention. Scroll away if you don't want to hear this. Scroll away if this isn't for you. I'm talking to the people that actually want to find heart, that want to be a champion, that have grit, that want to change their life, that understand that it's you who is in the way. Like I said, this is Hustle Hour, and I'm Mike.
And I'm Diane.
I'm just so sick and tired of people who talk the talk and do not walk the walk. There are so many people, most everybody talks the talk, but can't walk the walk. And I'm just sick and tired of it.
The excuses are endless. You know, it's the easy way, and negativity is so addicting. People are very addicted to anything that is going to badmouth themselves, somebody else. It's sadly the truth.
You know, if you want to get better at anything, it takes consistency. It takes discipline. It takes waves of motivation, motivating yourself to have discipline and have consistency. You have to do the things that you don't want to do before you do the things that you want to do. To have the results of anything in life, you have to do it every single day. You have to stay consistent with it. You have to also have a plan for yourself to hit your goals. You cannot just have goals and dreams. That does not, and hope. That does not equal anything. You have to actually have a plan. You have to write it down. You have to know what your plan is. Who doesn't write a plan down? Who has a goal and doesn't write it down and to have a plan to get there? Why do you think you're not hitting your goals and your dreams? Why? Why are you always disappointed in yourself? Why do you always stop the gym? Why? Because you have no plan. You have no consistency and you have no discipline. That's why. It's you.
And the plan doesn't mean anything is going to be easier either. The plan is just some kind of guideline to form. It's a brainstorm. It's something to get you moving, to move forward. Of course, you're going to deviate from the plan. Things are going to change. Life is going to change. You're going to have to move back, go forward, side to side. Like there's so many different things that could be happening, but having that plan is so golden because it just allows you to just start taking those steps forward instead of just kind of treading water and staying in place. Why nothing's changing around you.
Right. And you want to know something? When you're on and a little suffering starts in your journey, a lot of dreams die with suffering. Why? Because it gets too hard for you. You forget your dream. You forget why you're here. You forget what you're doing. Why? Because suffering started. You know what? That suffering gets you to the next step. That suffering leads to your goals. If you are suffering, that means you are on your journey. It's not always highs. You're going to have lows. The lows are suffering. And your dreams die when you suffer because you quit. Because you can't take a little suffering. Be grateful for the suffering. Be grateful that it's hard. Be the same person when you're at your highs, when you're at your lows. Be the same person. Have grit. Have heart. Discipline. Appreciate the suffering for what it is. I'm just so sick and tired of people telling me things, being in my life, and not understanding what it takes to get to the next level. This is real. You have to be real. Life is real. So many people come and go because this is real. I don't leave here and stop acting like this. I don't leave here and expect less. I expect more. The reason you found me on social media is because you're supposed to hear this. I don't know how you found me, but you're supposed to. You're supposed to. The universe is giving you this message. 2023 is around the corner. 2030 is around the corner. Do you want to be the same person? Or do you want to start something now to be great then? You're not going to be good at it right away. It's going to be hard up front. There's a learning curve to everything. But if you don't start, how will you ever know? I bet you regret hurts a lot more than failing a couple times or starting or going through the hard times of starting your journey. I bet you regret. I bet you that hurts a lot more. I bet you that's harder to swallow.
And there's always like those hard times that you go through. You don't know those lessons immediately, and they always seem to be something that you look back on. And not all the time you laugh at some of those moments, but there are some where you kind of understand what you were going through, what your mind was like, and you're kind of like, okay, I had to kind of learn my lesson there, and you move on from it, and then you kind of teach others as much as you can along the way through your own mistakes. But it's also just accepting. There's like an acceptance factor that happens when you are making these mistakes and you're kind of finding these failures. You almost have to know, and these hardships, you kind of have to lean into them a little bit and just take it as it's coming and just know that you are going to get back on top again. But you really, there's just some acceptance that needs to happen to move forward and know that as long as you have to endure, you're going to get through. It won't be, you know, it might not be on your timeline, but it's something that has to happen and move past.
You know, as I look back on my life, I have been through so many things that people told me that I could never do. You know, as little as, you know, interviewing for a position that they only hired 1% of people that didn't have a college degree, a 4-year degree. It was a sales position for one of the top companies in the world. And I interviewed for it, and I remember being there in my suit that was oversized, because I've never had a suit that fit me growing up. It was just always oversized. And I remember sitting with all the applicants in the room, and they knew exactly what to do, and they had their resumes. And I remember my resume was about 6 pages long, and it was just filled up with all my experience, because I thought having all of this experience was good. I thought, you know, I didn't know that a resume is supposed to be 1 page, and it was supposed to, you know, be 1 page, and your heavy hitters, your achievements, you know. So I went in with a 7-page report of what I've done and how I've, you know, every job, even if I've had a job for 10 days, I went and I interviewed for this job, Fortune 500 company, and for a sales position, inside sales. And I sat there, and person after person after person. And I remember I went in, and I had an interview with this guy named Jim. And, you know, Jim was a cool guy and heavier set guy. And he looked at me and he's like, Mike, you have no college degree. We only hire 1% of people that we don't hire people that don't have a college degree, you know, but you have so much sales experience. And I remember telling him, you know, the position that you put me in is sales, and I know sales, you know. And as I'm going to get this job, I was telling my friends that I'm going to get, and I have an interview, this and that. I got an interview for this job, and they were like, you're never going to get that job. You need to have a college degree, 4-year college degree. And anybody that knows me knows that I'm against, not against college, but I just never went. So it made me have strong feelings about college. I also had teachers tell me throughout my whole life that I would never amount to anything if I didn't go to college. They literally would look at me and tell me that I will amount to nothing. I will be a loser if I do not go to college. And I always combated that, and we get in verbal fights with teachers over this. So I was always
disgusting thing to say.
I was always very, very sensitive to when people would talk to me about college and how I needed college. So going into this, I was already fired up. I already had a fire in my stomach that I'm going to get this job no matter what. Nobody's going to stop me. You know, I don't care that they don't hire people who didn't go to college. I'm going to get the job. So I went in there and I absolutely sold this man on me working there. And I got the job, and I was hired at this in this position. You know, and everybody, my whole life told me that I couldn't do these things, and I wouldn't amount to anything because I didn't go to college. And I'm here to tell you, I don't know college. I'm not the person to sit here and talk to you about college. I have no idea what college is like. I have been to so many colleges to party in them because I had a lot of friends that were in college, and my cousins were in college. So I would go to different colleges and I would party. And that's all I've ever heard about what people do there. And that's all I've ever, you know, known for myself. I don't know what people are actually learning. I do know that on my team and who I employ are a lot of college kids, and they have to be taught some life skills that I am teaching them. I've actually been in colleges. I've been asked by professors and schools to come in and speak to their students and teach their students. So I know that, maybe I didn't go to college, but I've been in college teaching who I am and my entrepreneurial spirit and, where I've been. And why? Because I've always had this positive grit attitude towards everything. And I am the way I am because I was built this way. From the time I was born, my dad has built me from the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He has built me with the book The Magic of Thinking Big. What do you say when you talk to yourself? These are the books that he would quote my whole life. And this is the man he has built. So I am a product of my father. And I've never stopped. Growing up, I was always mad at my dad for just the way I am now. When like right now, Diane and I, we are in a position in life where if we complain, no one cares. If we're sick, we go to work. We don't have days off. Nobody cares. And we just live a life like that. And it is what it is. But even as I was growing up, when I was sick or I didn't feel good or I wanted someone to feel bad for me, my dad never felt bad for me. He always told me I could do better. He always told me that, you know what, if you want this, you got to go get it. Blah, blah, blah. He would always preach to me what I am actually talking about in every one of these shows. And that's why I am the way I am. And it's not your fault that you weren't brought up that way. But it is your fault if you hear this or you know the way and you are not starting that journey today.
Right. Everyone's experience is different. Yours just started with your dad. Other people meet certain teachers. They just meet other family members. There's just everyone's path and who is just abundant in their lives that they speak to and talk to and find like a mentor in is different. So depending on where that spot hits, you just meet people along different times in your life when you need them because timing is everything.
And someone commented on TikTok, one of my last videos, one of our followers, and they said to me, it's not about being a champion, it's about being a survivor. And that is not true. It's not about being a survivor. Everybody is a survivor. We're all survivors, okay? But we can't feel bad for ourselves. So it's not about surviving. It's about exceeding expectations. It's about pushing ourselves. It is about being champions. It's not about just survival. And, I don't know what that comment was my perception of it is that, survival, I took it as a negative. And
that sounds sad to me. Sometimes you feel like all you can do in a situation is survive it, but it's definitely not where you want to stay and where you want to be. It's a moment. It's, however long that period of time is, but I would never want to be surviving. I would want to be progressing, moving forward. I would want to be accomplishing and hitting different goals. I would want to be doing more. There are definitely moments in my life where I felt like I survived that. I had been surviving that, but that's not a constant place that I want to be. That's a place of hardships and, of hopefully finding growth and somewhere to excel in that because you don't want to stay in that survival mode. That survival mode is suffocating and that survival mode is, that's like, it feels like drowning. You want to feel like you're floating. Like, I don't want to feel drowned.
I've always had to survive. Everybody has to survive. We do the things to survive. Everybody has a different path that they're on to survive. And some people don't even understand how good they have it. We have to, I'm talking to you, you have to be grateful for what you have. You have to be grateful for your journey. Stop looking at what you don't have and start looking at what you do have. That's how you change your life. That's how you change your mood instantly. That's how you should be waking up every day. What do I have? What am I grateful for? Stop looking at what other people have. Stop looking at what you don't have. And look at what you do have.
Yeah, when times get tough, I will kind of rein myself back in by thinking about all the things I am grateful for and all the things that I love and the people I love, and just starting somewhere. You feel in those moments, you feel so like angry sometimes, and you're like, what do I even have? But even though it starts small, before you know it, there are really so many things that we should all be grateful for.
You know, we all have different goals, and I hope you do start with a goal, because having a goal is, you know, the first step. But you have to know how to draw up a plan to hit your goals. The ways to do that is I see a lot of people just preaching and never giving examples of how to get somewhere. And you know, you can say it, and I really think that people listen to things, but they're not really hearing. You know, like, if you want to get somewhere, you have to start being around that, no matter what that is. Let's take fitness, for example. If you want to be more fit, you have to hang around more fit people.
And also define what fit means to you at all.
And then you find those people or that community, and that is where you spend most of your time, or any downtime that you have. Instead of watching Netflix, or instead of watching TV, or instead of sleeping because you're depressed, or instead of doing something that is not productive, you hang around the people that live that life. Now, I don't know if you heard that, so I'm going to repeat it. If you want something in your life, hang around that community and those people to get what you want, and that's how you'll get there. It will just happen for you. I promise you. Along that way, while hanging out with them, guess what? You're going to have conversations about either whatever you want. Say you want more money, and you want to make that money by being a plumber, and you hang out with plumbers. They're going to teach you their ways. You're just going to have conversations about how they run their business or what they are doing. And that's how you're going to learn that. If you want to be fit and you want to get into fitness, and you hang out at, say, Burger King or McDonald's, I'm dumbing it down for you like you're 5, and you hang around that and you expect to get fit, that's why you're not fit. If you're playing video games and they're talking about video games and how to get to level 10, you're probably going to get to level 10, but you're not going to get fit from that. Does that make sense?
Of course. I mean, it's easy enough.
You would think that it's easy.
It's because you have to actually want the things that you say that, and then act. And for you to want that, you would have to be proactive about it and do something about it. We could all say, I want this, or I want to be at this point in my life, but you have to actually mean that. And to mean that means to put a plan into action and want to do something about it, versus a dream.
Talking about it.
A dream, an idea, a talking point, something that is, you know, a conversation starter, not necessarily something that you're going to do.
Right.
Completely different things, what you say and what you do. You make moves when those two things align.
Right. And the reason why a lot of you that are watching don't do what you want to do is because you talk about it and you think about it. And then when the time comes, when you're ready to go do it, you make an excuse and you listen to yourself, and you give yourself a good enough a reason to not do it, because you are the most convincing person to you. Believe me, you're the most convincing person. Or there's someone in your life that you have around, and they're very convincing to you, and they just have to make one little comment or make one little plan, and your plans for your start date just got pushed back. I know it's happened to you. I know that you do it all the time, every day. I know that at 8 o'clock at night, you're like, I'm waking up early tomorrow. I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow. And then guess what happens? You're tired in the morning. You're tired when you wake up.
You're surprised you're tired.
You're tired. So what do? You keep sleeping. You go back to bed. Or you just lay there and you get on your phone. You scroll through TikTok. Go on Instagram. Instead of taking that time that you were on TikTok and going to the gym. How are you going to change your life? How are you going to get fit? How are you going to start your business? How? Procrastination is a killer. Comfort is a killer. 2023, I'm going to keep saying it, is coming here. It's a couple days away. You're going to live for 5 more years. So what is going to happen? 5 years is going to pass, and what? You still haven't started? You're still the same person? You have the same excuses in 5 years that you have right now? That is insane. You are insane. You haven't moved off the couch? That's wild.
It's all about like learning about yourself and actually knowing yourself and getting to know yourself. Like really though, like the good stuff and the bad stuff, like the stuff that you say to yourself, the excuses you make, even, I know I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be tired and I'm not going to want to do it. It's knowing that about yourself and doing it anyways, but you have to actually know you're going to act like that because that's who you are. Like I know my, some of my bad habits. I know the things that I'll say to myself to get myself out of certain situations or not want to handle something or put it off, procrastinate. I feel like you have to pay attention to those things and realize when you see like, oh, here I go again, and know that you just have to push through that. And that's just you being you. And eventually it will just kind of kickstart a new habit and a new line of thinking, and things will just change along the way. But you have to first like see it for what it is to make any sort of change. And again, accept that is what it is. And if I'm going to move forward and actually get up in the morning, have a productive day, go to the gym, have breakfast before I go to work every single day, then you have to do something about it. You can't just think it. There are so many things along the way that are happening that you need to do, whether that's obviously go to sleep early, but also all the things you're going to do when your alarm does go off. There are so many things that are playing out in your mind that you have to get right for you to get a right habit, your routine, and make yourself do the things that you are only holding yourself from doing.
Nothing is ever going to be perfect enough for you to start. To start, you're not going to be perfect. If you know that, why don't you start? It's not going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. You'll never be perfect. Nothing you do will ever be perfect. It's imperfect.
Yeah, but that's so hard for some people to even think about doing something that's imperfect.
It doesn't matter. It's imperfect. You're not perfect. Look at me. You're not perfect. It's okay. You're not going to be perfect. You're not going to have that perfect day that you're going to start and be like, and there's going to be a light and you're going to feel great. And that's the day you start. No, it just doesn't happen.
Right. I would love to wake up to like curtains drawn, sun shining, like just fresh squeezed orange juice in my hand.
Another success principle is like the plan that you write for yourself. You should have a routine in the morning. Your morning routine sets your whole day. So when someone says, I get up at this time, I do this, and I do this, and I do this, that plan that they're telling you of their morning is written down somewhere. It's written down of what they do. It started somewhere. Write it down. Just try it. Get out a pen and a piece of paper. We all know how to write, right? Are you lefty or are you righty? Put the pen in that hand and write down your morning routine, what you can actually do and implement in your life. And then the next day, because on your routine, you're going to write down what time you're going to wake up. So say it's 7 o'clock. Let's start late. 7 o'clock. I'm going to get up. I'm going to write down 5 things that I am grateful for. I'm going to also write down my schedule for today. After you do that, what are you going to do? What is your morning routine going to be? I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to work out. I'm going to have coffee, or I'm going to have breakfast with so-and-so. I'm going to text my mother I love her. What is your routine? Write it down and then follow it the next day. Do that one thing. Start your discipline with that. Watch your life change. Date it. Put a time on it. Every day I get up, I write in my journal. I put my date, I put my time, and I write whatever comes to my mind. No matter what it is, I write it down. That's how I start every single day that I get up. And then I go to the gym. I have a great workout every day. And then Diane and I have coffee together. After coffee, we work out again. After that workout, I go to work.
There's power in writing things down. I feel like it makes it brings like some kind of realization to it. It makes it just more solid, and just, of course, to hold you accountable. You are writing what you're going to do. You are only letting yourself down if you don't accomplish those things or even attempt to get some of that stuff done. I know for me, like, things just stick in my brain better if I write it down. And if I'm writing something down multiple times, it just really, it's just something that, it's just there. Just like at the forefront.
It seems too easy. It seems like what I'm saying is too easy, but when you talk to people who are successful or people that are happy, and success doesn't mean money. It might mean money to you. It might mean money to me. It might mean money to a lot of people, but happiness. What is your happiness? What do you want to do that makes you happy? That's success. But when you talk to different successful people, these are the things they're doing. They don't do it exactly like me. They don't do it exactly like Diane. Diane and I don't even do it exactly the same. But you know what? We have the same principles. We all have the same principles. We can literally write down what our principles are, and it's the same thing. It's just that you're not doing it. You might think it's stupid. I do it in my head, or I wake up and I do. No, it's not. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm not telling you. There's a power in writing it down. There's a power of writing it down and following that. Just do it. I promise.
Yeah, I love that. And anyone who thinks, and of course, there might be somebody who has all of those things that they're going to do and their routine and what they're going to accomplish that day in their mind, but they're not going to think that. But there are people who think they're doing that, but they're not accomplishing any of the things that they want to hit. So it's kind of like, again, knowing who you are and actually really knowing who you are. Like, if you aren't hitting your goals or you can't find yourself in the position where you want to be, you should be changing it up or trying something new, because what would it hurt? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. It goes back to how you are talking to yourself. How you talk to yourself is how you believe in yourself. To me, yes, I've had moments where I've felt like I'm successful. But I also, on the same hand, feel like I haven't even started my career yet. I feel like I feel like I'm not even doing what I was meant to do in life. I feel like everything is a setup. I'm being set up for the next part of my life. This step that I am on my journey of life, of stepping up, this step just happens to be really, really long. But in the timeline of life, it's so small. But whatever we are getting ready for, whatever we are being set up for next, is going to be huge. And I can honestly say that everything that I talk about on this show is why I'm going to get to that next step. Because we don't quit. When things get hard, we do keep going. We have failed. We do get up quickly. We do bounce back very, very quickly. We are champions through the hardest times or when we're our most tired. We do have a plan. We do have a vision board. We do write things down. So when I get to that next step, you guys are just here at this step of my life. You are hearing this message. But in 5 years, come back and listen to this, watch me, and see where I'll be. What will the background be? Where will I be? You're just here in this blip of time. Where am I going? Where are you going? I guess we're going to have to find out. Patience is key. Consistency is key. I've already started. I don't have to worry about me. I have to worry about you. You have to worry about you. When are you going to start? When is your journey going to start? When are you going to get out of your comfort zone? Where are you going to be in 5 years? Did you ever think of that? Or do you just think about today? Thinking about Christmas? Thinking about New Year's Eve? What are you thinking about? When is it going to click for you? When is the switch going to go off for you? When are you going to realize that life isn't just, it shouldn't just pass you by with no mission in life?
You shouldn't be just surviving. You should be living.
Right. I was watching this video of a guy who was in the army, and he said everything that you do should be because of a mission. What is your mission? What is your mission? This is our Christmas show, and it's labeled You. Not me, not Diane. It's labeled You. Because when are you going to start? When are you going to put a date and time on the top of a piece of paper and write your plan down and start? Will it be today? Are you waiting for January 1st, 2023 like everybody else? When is it going to be? Think about it. Date and times is all made up. Stuff's fake. There is no time but right now. That's it. Merry Christmas.
I like that. Merry Christmas.
That's it. This is Hustle Hour with Mike.
And Diane.
And this is Gynesis Radio. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Terry.
And we'll see you next week. Merry Christmas.